Hello, once again, Mr. Castillo. Let me just get this light here. Add a little more light to my face. There we go. So pretty much just what we did what I did last time for my original. As you can tell, you get the music in the background where I was looking for lyrics. As you can tell to my left. Well, yeah, that'd be my right technically, but at the same time it's my left. But anyhow, you got the other version of me over there. He's gonna count us in. He missed like the first word just because the first word is right on the first beat, so it's a little challenging to get to. Sometimes when it's stuff like that. So basically, this is Stuck at Home for blues. As I mentioned yesterday's video, it's inspired based off the coronavirus pandemic. You'll notice by some of the lyrics. And of course, I will have shared the score and my lyrics, which divvy up the verses. Now, in the song, for starters, obviously there's the 12 bar blues as its background, as its main melody kind of thing. Well, not the melody, but you know what I mean. It's main backbone, I guess. But I also, being I'm in Jazz in America as well this semester, we just recently went over all the blues stuff. So early classic blues, urban blues, country blues, all that stuff. So inspired a little bit more kind of based off of early classic blues. You'll notice that I followed the same pattern with each verse following the AAB format, so you repeat the first line twice and then you go to a different line. And each verse has 3 lines. So that's pretty much what I did there, so it's following that pattern. And of course, there's going to be one measure in each line that's a fill-in, instrumental fill-in. Now, my main idea was harmonica, because, harmonica is kind of looked at as blues, particularly. Whenever you hear a lot of blues songs, there's usually harmonica in it. At least, I don't know. At least that's my interpretation, like watching something like the Blues Brothers. Elwood always had his harmonica with him, for any particular song on stage or whatever that he felt he wanted to have harmonica. So that's what I did. But because I use certain devices for writing or applications for writing my music, ran into a slight problem. You'll notice this when you start listening and such once I get going here. Basically, the app version I use, or the app one I use on my tablet here is Music Writer. Music Writer is great. It's got plenty of instruments. It's, pretty great. Works fantastically. Problem with Music Writer is you can't change the key of the instrument, which means for some reason every single instrument is in the same key. I'm not sure if it's all set to key of C, but I can't figure out how to change the key of the specific instrument. So when composing, knowing that the trumpet is a B flat instrument and everything else is usually a C instrument, it backfires a little bit, because you could keep it in the same key composition wise, but then when I go to play it for real, it's not going to sound good at all. I'd have to move it up on my own and kind of like think ahead. So, but then when I compose it, if I already have it in that upper key, it's going to clash with the rest of the composition. So there's a downside to it. So then I went and took everything, brought it to Noteflight, the internet version that I usually use. Now Noteflight's great. It works fantastic. It is, top notch. Problem with Noteflight there's no harmonica selection. So when I took my composition from Music Writer and brought it over to Noteflight, the closest instrument it could get to harmonica was clarinet. So though the score is going to say harmonica, and you're gonna, if you follow along with the harmonica line or listening into the harmonica line, because harmonica only plays when there's nothing else playing at the time, with the exception of the 12-bar blues. So with that being said, you're gonna hear a clarinet, but it's supposed to be harmonica. Just keep that in mind. It's gonna sound a little off, but sometimes when you're composing on a technological source, it's not always going to be the way you want it to be, and sometimes you just have to deal with it. But I think that covers everything with this song, so let's get into it. Oh, we're already 6 minutes into the video. Whew, what fun. Alright, so let's start. I have my trumpet in hand, actually, before we press this button. And that was Stuck at Home. Hopefully all went well. I mean, I know it was kind of quiet on my end, particularly the lyrics. But lyrics aren't the main point of us writing the song, because I'm doing trumpet, not vocals, for the class. But I like to go that extra mile usually when I'm assigned a project or something. I'm usually that kid that will, step things up a notch. I'll usually, I'll have all the transitions and all that stuff in PowerPoints, and, I'll get as much detail as I can into those things. I'm usually that one that just overdoes it all the time. I like to, go that extra mile, Yeah, so what? I don't get extra points or anything. Not a big problem. I just like to see the teacher's happy expression to know that I worked harder than I needed to, Makes me feel a little better, particularly, but, so I think that covers everything. I'll just double check the video, make sure everything sounds good, and then after that I will be going to the Locrian scale. So, woo!